as I said, what is reality? Again, what is reality? Reality is you fix the reality in your mind, and that becomes real. And everything is in transit. Emotional, you have emotion of some sort, that is your reality. Or phobia is reality. Fear is reality. That set opinion is your reality. You have sort of kind of formed some kind of thought, that's your reality. So whatever stage you are, that becomes your reality for that time and that place. But again, reality will change. So what is real? Because the reality is going to change. When you are young, you have a different perception. When you get older, a little bit is different. So until you are born, until you leave your body, your reality changes so many times. So at the end of the day, what is the reality? And so this that sloka, stanza, which is very much says that they are all made of a statue, made of stone, iron or wood or clay, and that is a symbol. But the real reality is that your intense bhavana, your own bhavana, that you create, invoke, and you trust in the deities. So actually you empower, you create, and that becomes life, and it's very interesting. So that the create, invoke energy, worship, and finally let go, and keep the blessing ongoing. It's very interesting concept that you have duality of Ganesh. And when you dissolve the Ganesh into water, then you go to non-duality. That you want to arrest those moments of blessing or darshan or grace energy in your heart. So you become non-dual. So you live in duality. You live in duality. The whole world is duality. And then you enter into your aim is non-dual, because that's what you are. You are non-dual. Nirvanam, you are completely Advait. Not Dvait. Dvait is more than one or two, and Advait is only one. So ultimately you are one. You are non-dual, formless, colorless, completely above and beyond. That is your true self. But then you understand and you experience the duality. So that's a very interesting. 2 weeks people will make the statue, invoke the energy, worship, and they have all these explanation and talks and kirtan and bhajan and whatnot and prasad and celebration of life. And then they know that time to move on, because then you keep in the heart. That doesn't mean you give up the celebration. Celebration goes in your heart because you have other things to do. You have to go to office, you have to do the work. So physically you cannot continue 365 days. But time to time you can do it to recharge, to make it remind you, to connect to continuity. So you are having duality in order to remind your non-duality status. And I used to make a statue of Durga and hand over for worship when very, very long back. And it took me 3 months to make the statue. First you have to use the grass to make the body structure. And then you take clay and you, of course, sounds very easy, but and then you have to give the shape and many hands, and then finally when it is all ready, then you have to do color, the eyes and the hair and all that. So it is like a worshipping. 3 months. So when it was ready, then I gave hand over for further invocation or activation of energy. Then I was not involved. Then my job was over. It took me 3 months. I used to do that in Calcutta. When I used to, those days, I used to live there. So that's the immense that you are creating, the God, goddess, with your hand. That's amazing feeling. That you are, and your statue you are making, millions of people are going to worship and enjoy. Knowing that, it itself is a worship or meditation. So there is a process. And that's why this mantra last time we introduced, Nirvana Satakam, that is your reality. Ultimate reality is that. But how to get there? That is because if you say, oh, I am this and I am Shiva, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, you sing it. And then you say, I am Shiva, you are nothing. Then do you think other person is going to accept that? Well, other person will say, but you don't behave like Shiva. So you sing, you contemplate, you meditate, you analyze, you look at, but that is you're aspiring to be. But even if you feel in 24 hours sometime, Shiva like I am Shivananda Rupa Chidodam, na merag dvese, I don't hate anyone, I don't dislike anyone, I am blissful state, I love everybody, and even if it is for time to time, still there is a hope. The only thing, if you don't feel, that is something to be worried about. That because at least, so that is the question of what is called sadhana practice, that you become part of it, and that is the ultimate goal. And in duality, you have deities, and you have prayer, and you have meditation, and you have surrender, and you have a sort of offering, and you have all sorts of practices and sort of offering, so that you are doing your duty. You are clearing your mind, you are cleansing your antahkaran, the inner self, preparing yourself to be there. But knowing that they are all part of our life, but this area, mind game area, is very serious and very interesting, that how to get to someone in some way, because this, to remove the fear psychosis, remove the phobia, insecurity. And that is something which spirituality has a solution. But provided you follow it, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make the horse drink water. This is the solution is there. Because it changes your mind, its whole concept will change, that your thinking pattern will change. Reconciliation is there. Something happens to you, okay, it happens to me, so must be my past karma. So this life I must work for betterment. Gives you some solution. And so there is some hope in this area. But how to make people understand, how to make them follow it, and especially Vedanta and Panchadasi, Atmabodh, Yoga Vasisth, they are brilliant treatises to cure your mind, provided you don't develop the ego. Because the ego, if you develop the ego, then it is a contrary to what? Then it is not very effective to develop the humility.